For decades, the name of the game in air combat was all about one thing: stealth, being invisible. But what if the future isn't just about being unseen? What if it's about bringing a whole team with you? We are right on the edge of a massive shift, where fighter pilots are going to fly into battle leading a squadron of artificially intelligent drones. So let's explore this incredible and kind of wild new era of aerial warfare.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll break down the core idea: what exactly is a loyal wingman? Then, we'll see how the U.S. Air Force is actually building this AI fleet. We'll also look at how this all fits into a much bigger strategy, and then get into what these drones will actually do. And of course, we have to talk about the huge challenges and the big questions, before wrapping up with what this all really means for the future of air combat. So let's dive right into the foundational concept, the loyal wingman. And this is so much more than just a new gadget. It's a completely new way of thinking about teamwork in the sky.
I mean, this is the question that's driving this entire revolution. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? But it's quickly becoming a reality. We're talking about a single human pilot acting as a commander, orchestrating a whole team of autonomous partners right in the middle of a fight. Now, don't think of these AI-piloted drones as just some pre-programmed robots following a script. No. They're designed to be real teammates, taking commands in real time from a human pilot. The whole idea is to get the best of both worlds. You get the strategic judgment and intuition of a person, combined with the speed, precision, and, let's be honest, the expendability of a machine. So you might be asking, why is this all happening right now? Well, it's a direct answer to some very tough problems. First, building a single advanced fighter jet costs an absolute fortune. On top of that, sending a human pilot into a heavily defended area is riskier than it has ever been. This whole concept offers a solution. You can dramatically increase the size of your force, what the military calls mass, without the insane costs, and most importantly, without putting more human lives on the line. Okay, so let's move from the idea to how this is actually getting built. And it's all happening under a massive government effort called the Collaborative Combat Aircraft Program, or CCA for short. And the scale of this ambition, it's just staggering. This is not some small little experiment. The U.S. Air Force is planning to build a fleet of at least 1,000 of these AI drones. A number that big tells you everything you need to know about how serious they are about this. And they are moving at an absolutely breakneck speed. Just look at this timeline. In July 2023, an experimental drone flew a mission entirely controlled by its own AI. Less than 2 years later, we have officially designated aircraft, and one of them, the YFQ-42A, is already flying. Believe me, in the world of military development, that is lightning fast. And we're not talking about concepts anymore. These are the real deal. The first 2 official AI wingmen. You have General Atomics building the YFQ-42A, which, as we said, is already in the air. And then there's a newer defense company, Endoral Industries, working on the YFQ-44A. This makes the whole program very, very real. Now, it's super important to understand that these drones don't exist in a vacuum. They are a core piece of a much larger, much more ambitious strategy for the future of air power. It's called Next Generation Air Dominance, or NGAD. Probably the easiest way to think about NGAD is like a football team. At the center, you have your star quarterback. That's a brand new 6th-generation fighter jet. Then you have the rest of the team, and that's the whole fleet of AI wingmen we're talking about. All of it is connected by super advanced data links and armed with next-gen weapons and sensors. The idea is that the whole team is way more powerful than any one player could ever be. This also represents a huge change in philosophy. For decades, the model was to spend years, even decades, designing one single, perfect plane that had to last for half a century. Now the Air Force is shifting to what they call a digital century series approach. Think of it less like building a giant cathedral and more like developing an app for your phone. You get rapid development, modular parts, and constant updates to both the hardware and the software. Okay, so we've covered the concept and the program, but let's get down to it. What are these AI drones actually going to do on a mission? What is their role on the team? Well, their incredible versatility is really what makes them a game changer. They can be sent out ahead as scouts into really dangerous territory. They can act as jammers to blind enemy defenses. They can be loaded up with missiles, acting like a missile truck to massively boost the team's firepower. They can even act as decoys, basically tricking the enemy into shooting at them, an expendable drone, instead of at the human pilot. And this division of labor is absolutely key.
The human pilot is still the commander, focusing on the big picture strategy and making those critical calls, like when to use weapons. The AI wingman becomes the asset that takes on all the high-risk jobs, the dangerous scouting, the electronic jamming, even taking a hit if it has to. The whole point is to keep the human pilot, who is irreplaceable, safer and further away from the danger.
Now, as incredible as all this technology sounds, let's be realistic. This is not a done deal. There are some massive hurdles to overcome and some really profound questions that need answers. I mean, to show just how confident they are, the top civilian leader of the Air Force, Secretary Frank Kendall, has actually said he's going to fly in an AI-piloted aircraft himself. That is an unbelievable vote of confidence, right? It's designed to build trust and prove that these systems are safe. But that confidence runs smack into the central dilemma of this whole thing. When an AI can think and react thousands of times faster than a person can even blink, how do you make sure a human is still truly in control? This is one of the hardest questions military planners are grappling with right now. And the list of concerns is huge. On the technical side, can you really trust the AI not to glitch out in a chaotic, unpredictable situation? What happens if its communication link to the pilot gets jammed, or even worse, hacked? And then you get to the really heavy ethical question. How do you guarantee without a shadow of a doubt that a human, and not an algorithm, is the one making that final life or death decision? All right, so let's pull back and look at the big picture. If, and that's a big if, these challenges can be overcome, what are the huge long-term implications of this AI revolution?
The bottom line is, this changes the entire strategic equation. When you can project military force on a much larger scale, with lower costs and with less risk to your people, it fundamentally alters how nations will think about air power, about deterrence, and about conflict itself. It's a whole new ballgame.
And if you take just one thing away from all of this, let it be this. We are moving away from an era that was defined by the incredible capabilities of a single fighter jet. The future is all about a networked team, a family of systems, where the collaboration between the human and the AI is what really matters. The team is now more important than any one player.
And that leaves us with our final and maybe our most critical question. As these AI systems allow combat to happen at speeds that are literally beyond human comprehension, what new dangers does that create? How do we build the guardrails to prevent a crisis from spiraling out of control simply because the machines were moving too fast for human wisdom to step in? That is the challenge that is going to define the next chapter of military history.